like Scandinavia? You're here quite a lot anyway.
I love it here. I think it's wonderful.
This name of yours, or the old name, put it that way, the name Johansson, you might recognize it. Doesn't this have certain Scandinavian links somewhere back in time?
Look it up in the phone book. It takes about 125 pages. My father was born in Arendal in Norway.
Mm-hmm. When did Buster Poindexter and David Johansson break up, and why?
Why? Irreconcilable differences.
And
mental cruelty.
Why are they so irreconcilable?
Well, basically, what happened was I started doing this Buster Poindexter show at this place, Tramps, in New York, which is a little kind of blues bar. And I started doing it as a hobby on Monday nights, which is the traditional musician's night off. So I wanted to basically wow my friends. And I started with just a piano player, and these guys would come down and they'd say, "Oh man, I got to get in. I want to play with you guys." So then we'd have a guitar player, and then the next week we had a bass player and a drummer and stuff like this. And the band just started to grow, and the show became a very popular entertainment in New York. And we started playing at a bigger place because the big band really couldn't fit in Tramps anymore, and the crowds were coming down. So we started playing at a place called the Bottom Line, and people would come to the show again and again, and when their friends came to town, they would bring their friends to see the show. So it was a very long-running, popular show. And I just was enjoying myself so much that I decided to stop going out and doing the David Johansson routine and entertaining little rebels without a clue, and that I would do something a little more sophisticated and stylish.
Do you find that people seem to need this glamour and these sort of shades of the 20s almost today?
I don't think of it as that. I think it's a new glamour.
Mm.
I guess there may be some shades of the 20s in it, but it's very now.
It's a happy thing, the whole thing.
Yeah.
People
it's a light entertainment.
They need this in their lives, you think?
I think so, yeah. I don't think it's, all they need, but it's nice to when you go to a nightclub and you can be entertained.
Mm. So you don't feel that this has created any personality crisis? I mean, there are very few singers that have done this sort of turnaround, if you like, from the New York Dolls. I mean, inevitably you get these questions all the time, but from this turnaround, from associating you or your old self with the New York Dolls and today the Buster Poindexter image, this whole character, it is so very, very different.
They have different characters, yeah, but they're all characters.
Mm. But so different.
Yeah, they are different. The David Johansson of the Dolls is kind of like, you would think of him as like Buster Poindexter's son or something.
Mm.
Since I spent all that time in the track, I didn't discipline him properly, and that's how he turned out.
You don't think this is a part of getting older, developing into other kinds of music?
Oh, yeah, sure. It's got to do with growing older and maturing, so to speak.
Mm.
But people have a tendency to do that. I think more people do than don't.
One could think, talking as we are doing about the music, that it is music or old music in a new way, if you like. But in fact, I think two anyway of the songs are newly written by yourself on your album, your latest album. Mm-hmm. Are there still any influences from your old self in these new songs?
Yeah, David Johansson wrote those songs.
Right.
For me.
For you, yes.
Yeah. I sit down and write a song every once in a while, but it's not a great pressure to me because there's so many songs available that I want to sing. So if I get a really great idea for a song, I'll write it down, but I don't sit down and say, well, I got to write today. You know what I mean?
Mm. Mm. You mentioned earlier about your film career. This is something quite recent as well.
Yeah, it started about a year, last November, about a year and a half ago.
And I read somewhere that they're even going to do a film on Buster Poindexter, is that right?
Yeah, we're going to make a film, The Buster Poindexter Story, I think, is what the working title is right now.
I've understood as well that you don't really like touring very much, but we, as I said earlier, see you here quite a lot.
Yeah.
Is it true that you don't like touring?
I don't like long tours, no. I like to go out for a couple of weeks maybe, and then go home, and then come out again. It's not... I spend so much of my life touring that it's... I've kind of eaten up that portion of my life, and I don't really want to do that so much. But I don't mind a little light traveling now and again.
Right. And you try to combine holiday with the touring?
Well, I try to make it as pleasurable as possible, which means having good people come with me, and people who I enjoy, and people who make me laugh and stuff. So...
what are the things that make you laugh?
Oh, unbridled wit.
Give us an example of...
Oh, I don't think I can do that right now. But if there was such a thing as happiness, that would be it.
Yeah. Tell us about the song Hot, 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 why that came to be on the album, why it's...
Well, I was going down to the Caribbean to chill, and I turned on the radio, and soca music was all over the place, and I just fell in love with it. And I intend to do more of it in the future, and that was just, I think, the obvious first choice for me, because it's such a universal chant. Any country, I think, would enjoy that song.
Yeah, again, that happy feeling, you can't resist sort of getting along into it as soon as you start listening to it. Do you like to feel that you can recreate the sound from your records on stage?
Well, that's not really my concern. I think they're both bound to sound different, but I don't know if one is better than the other. They're both good in their own way. On stage you have, you know, all the hoopla and excitement going on, so it's going to be a little different than a record. Records tend to be more staid.
I mean, you're obviously not on the album using a lot of technical stuff that you can use in a studio that you can't perhaps use in the same way on stage. So
we're not really that tech, my band. We just introduced the synthesizer, like on this tour. We haven't used it before, and so that's kind of like our great leap into modern times. But basically, we're a pretty organic band. You know, we use the saxophones as opposed to a synthesizer, and the trumpets. And we use a real piano, and we use real percussion instruments, and things like that. So we're not really into this beatbox kind of boom.
Buster Poindexter, thanks very much for talking to us.
Thank you very much. Good night, Scandinavia.